I've honestly been sort of struggling back and forth for the past, I'd say, few years. And it's been an up and down struggle. I have some months, weeks, and, some days where I feel great. Confidence isn't bothered at all. And then there were days where I just didn't really feel as confident. It was nothing that was ever worrisome, where something was I was deficient in this or something it was becoming detrimental. It was nothing like that. But I would notice that some days that I just wouldn't be as confident and it would affect my motivation to do certain things. It would affect my motivation to go certain places, to participate in certain activities. It would bother me in that way. And then there would be some weeks where it just wouldn't. Like I'd just be down for whatever. And it was just always like this back and forth sort of a deal. It was always attached to being self-conscious, being self-aware and self-conscious. I was always sort of like never really fond uh of my body type or whatever the case. And I wasn't too bad, if you can see me in here. I wasn't struggling too bad with just like how I looked, and I wasn't like poorly built or anything like that, but it was just still things that I wanted to work on. And I think I let those things that I wanted to work on bother me so much that it affected my confidence and caused me to be more uncomfortable in my own skin. And my wife always tell me like, dude, you don't have anything to worry about. You're okay. You know. But I was always like a huskier guy, a chubbier guy. I was always able to wear it well. It's only so long that you can carry that. As you get older, you're not able to carry that as well as you were when you were younger. And I think it was just a matter of taking things for granted, going through those moments where I was confident and just kind of taking things for granted and taking time for granted. And that's why I wanted to embark on the journeys that I've gone on. Uh, I was I want to say about 245 pounds before I went vegan back in 2017. Once I went vegan, within months, I had dropped down to about 215, which was a excellent size for me. I dropped down about 215, but when I went vegan, I was very simplistic with the way that I ate. And I think it's just a matter of me getting back to that simplicity. I started discovering all these different plant-based alternatives and all these different ways of still eating junk food while technically remaining vegan. And that's where I just been. I just been eating all type of just junk and just loading up on carbs. So in the recent months or recent weeks, I've been engaging in an ADF diet incorporated with the vegan diet, or ADF lifestyle. Because I don't like doing diets. I like incorporating things that I can easily turn into a lifestyle. That way I don't have to remember to do it. I'm not really thinking about it. With the vegan lifestyle thing, with that particular change, that wasn't something that I had to remember. It just became something that I did. Whenever me and my wife go to the grocery store, it just became instinct. We load up on produce, vegetables, things like that. But even with that, we were coming home and a lot of our meals was just like these refined processed stuff, and weren't really reaching for the vegetables and the fruits like that. Or when we were, it wasn't as often. We were noticing that we were wasting and throwing away a lot. And so we've been making changes to that. Picking up way less of that processed stuff. That stuff is cool every here and there. You don't want to load up on that stuff. And that's what I was doing. I like the way some of the replacements taste. So I was making sandwiches, burgers, chicken sandwiches. I was making, nachos, stuff like that. And there's ways that you can make much fresher and um, way less volatile versions of those. stuff that I was making was like loaded with sodium. Would like go to bed and I'm just thirsty because all the sodium that I took in and the lack of water. Wasn't drinking as much water as I should. Now I get in a gallon a day easily. Now I'm watching so much of that intake. Now I'm watching so much of that sodium intake. And so with me including the ADF, I'm still able to eat what I want, but I can portion things out a bit better. And it's also giving me a less desire to crave those things. And now whenever it is time for me to eat during my eating window, I'm wanting more fresh foods. I'm wanting things that are a bit more fresh and refreshing and just natural and raw. I come downstairs sometimes and I just want something fresh. I just want a smoothie, give me an apple, and it's like now I'm learning to sort of curve my desire for food. I don't like necessarily trying to do things cold turkey because I feel like you're just going against the grain doing it that way. With me, when I went vegan, I basically went cold turkey. There was no transition period for me. It was just get rid of everything that we have in the fridge and then replace it with fruits, vegetables. I remember I was like using tofu quite a bit when I first started, and I still use it, but not as much. But I had a very simplistic way of eating, and so it was easy for me to incorporate it and make it into a lifestyle. It became habitual after 90 days, and that was it. It was a lifestyle. And it was something that I didn't have to necessarily fight too hard to stick with. There were some days where I would like be in the store and I would smell something I was cooking and it would smell good, but it just wasn't much of a struggle for me to leave things alone because I could cook. And so if you give me a bunch of vegetables and a good recipe book or a good recipe, I can make anything. On my on my YouTube channel, I've created vegan cheesesteaks. I've created vegan euros, vegan nacho cheese, all of this from home. I've made vegan burgers, vegan I can make vegan sausages, hot dogs, vegan deli meat. I've created a vegan Alfredo, chicken Alfredo. I can make pretty much anything. So I never had a desire to like, oh, I want this or I want that. I want to try this. I miss having this. I can make anything. So it's been easy for me because I'm resourceful in that manner where I don't necessarily need to go out and buy that. I can make that myself. So becoming a vegan and keeping that lifestyle was easy in that regard. What became difficult is one of my old habits of always wanting flavor profile. A flavor, I wanted a bold flavor. I wanted a lot of sauce, a lot of salt. I wanted a lot of salt. I wanted a lot of sauce. I wanted the flavor just to be packed. If I was eating something like chicken strips or whatever, I wanted a dipping sauce. I wanted a lot of it, and that was those small things were changes that I could make that could help me in the long run. Like I said, with being on this ADF diet, it definitely gives me some restrictions. It definitely gives me time to let my body recover. With me, the way that I used to eat, I would get up maybe about 10, 9, 10 in the morning. I'd give me something to eat. It'll probably be something a little lighter. It wouldn't usually be something heavy. I'll probably make like a deli sandwich with some chips and a drink, some coffee or something like that. Going by my day. I'd say 1, 2 o'clock roll around, I would get hungry again, and I'd probably make some vegan nachos. I get some sweet chili Doritos. Oh my god, those are so good. I would get some sweet chili Doritos, some vegan sour cream, pico de gallo, some cilantro, lime. I would make my homemade vegan nacho cheese. I would pick up some veggie grounds, which is like a vegan ground beef pretty much. And I will go ahead and top everything up. Add all that, some vegan sour cream on top. You know, something like that. That was like an idea of what I would piece together for, you know, like a lunch or something like that. Dinner would roll around, and I would probably have like a vegan chicken Alfredo. Go and pick up some Gardein. They have like these little grilled chicken bites. I would pick up some of those. I get some cashews, some butter, or olive oil, some seasonings. Boil those. I'll make my sauce. Boil my noodles, and just piece everything together. And that would be something on average for dinner. And I would have probably like some juice or something like that to go with it. I wasn't hitting water as much. I would have it here and there, but it wouldn't. It was not as nearly as much. I was probably drinking like one of these type of bottles a day, you know, so it wasn't a lot at all. And then I was doing it day after day after day, you know. So then I was snacking in between, or depending on what time dinner was, I would eat again that same night. So if dinner was like 5 or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, usually like later around that night, like around this time, right now it's 11 o'clock. I would have been downstairs cooking up something to eat, and it was never a light meal. My late night meal was always heavy. I would either cook something or I would go to Taco Bell and order whatever I wanted, but I would get like the black beans and rice and extra veggies to replace the meat and all that. And you were able to get away with it, but it wasn't what you needed. And then I would get a lot of it. I would get like three or four like 3 or 4 burritos type stuff. You know, come home late night eating those with the fire sauce, and that was an everyday thing though. That was a everyday thing. All day long I'm spiking insulin, spiking my blood sugar levels all day long with just a few hours in between. My body had no chance to really rest. Then I would finally lay down like around like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I would have to wake right back up at like 6, and I would just do that all over again. Sometimes I would lay down in the middle of the day and get a few hours, you know, depending on what I was if I was off that day or not. But yeah, that was the program that I was running. That was when that was the program that I was running, and that was when I was vegan. So imagine what I was doing when I wasn't vegan. So that's why I wanted to incorporate this ADF diet, this ADF lifestyle. I want to incorporate this for numerous of reasons. One, health, losing weight, fitness, just getting into a better shape overall, allowing my body to recover, allowing certain cells to regenerate. My body had zero recovery time. I gave it no time to recover. I was constantly dumping a workload on my body all the time, all the time, all the time. And yeah, man, it's just after a while, it just takes a toll on you. You know, you gotta realize you gotta stop. Gotta stop. So with the ADF right now, the one that I'm incorporating, and I'm thinking about changing it to something a bit easier. But the right now the one that I'm doing, and it's been working out, is a 36-12. So I'll go a full 36 hours without food, and then I'll take 12 hours where I can eat, and I can go ahead and eat some food. Typically, with me taking that time, you're not going to be eating that full 12 hours. Your stomach is shrinking, and your body's able to recover. Your body is adjusting and all that to that 36-hour time period. So when it comes time for you to eat, you're going to be hungry, but you're not going to be able to just gorge yourself the way that you normally would. Your appetite will be a bit more heightened, but just having a large amount of food the way that you think you're going to have, you're not going to be able to do it. I'll eat probably that first hour. So say for instance, the way I've been eating, my time window has been 10 in the morning on my eating day till 10 at night. I have a 12-hour time span. And I never utilized that whole 12 hours, which you know, of course I wouldn't be able to, but I don't even use majority of it. I'll eat within that first hour, couple of hours, wait a few hours. I may have a coffee. After a couple of hours after that, I may get something light to eat. I may get a salad or a bag of chips or something like that. Or it's just really like, you know, a smoothie. I know that I need to eat, but my desire to eat isn't really as constant as it was before. And so I'm giving my body time to recover. So within that time window of when I can eat, if I was to incorporate more vegetables, incorporate more fresh fruit and raw vegetables and things like that, incorporate less sodium, less sugar, that would ultimately just help me even more in the long run. And that's what I've been getting at. You know, I've been noticing some days where I'm not really feeling like eating anything real heavy or real sloppy. You know, I kind of want something that makes sense, that isn't going to put me to sleep in an hour or so, but something that just makes sense, something that's going to be easy for me to incorporate on a daily basis and to turn into a lifestyle. And that's really where I'm at right now. Is I'm done with trying to diet or anything like that. That's never been something I'm interested in. I don't care for diets. I'm mainly looking for lifestyle changes that I can incorporate, that I can keep. Lifestyle changes that I can incorporate, that I can keep, that I can easily work, and that I can easily integrate in my everyday life. That's what I'm looking for. So far, this ADF alternate day fasting, so far this has been where it's at. I've been liking this. It's easier for me to incorporate. I'm not starving myself, giving my body a chance to recover. I noticed that a lot of things that I was dealing with, I know high blood pressure was something that I was getting ready to transition into dealing with. And the way I know is just like waking up, hands would be tight, wrists would be tight. If I went for a walk or went exercising, I would notice that would kind of happen. Hands and feet would tighten up really bad after a couple hours of exercise, and I would have to kind of sit down and kind of recover and then get back to it. And that's still kind of an issue, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. But I was noticing like, dude, your blood pressure is high. Your hypertension is up there, you know. And so that was something that I had to think about when it came to this diet. It's like when it came to this lifestyle, it's thinking about like, yo, we got to figure out a way to reverse some things. We got to reverse the way that we think about and approach food. We got to reverse the way that we think about like our macros, like our sugar, sodium intake, you know, fat intake, things like that. We got to reverse the way that we're thinking about it and the way that we're approaching it. Turn our body, we got to reverse the way our body uh acts towards body fat. Right now, right now or before, the way my body would approach body fat was to store it. You know, the way that I ate, it just stored body fat, stored it, stored it, stored it. And it stored it at a rapid rate. You know what I mean? Like gaining 50 pounds within a year type stuff. And it's just that has to be reversed. So incorporating more vegan, sometimes some keto friendly stuff as well to help along with the process. Incorporating more healthy, raw, fresh, and turn the plate over. Turn the plate over for a while. Allow your body to recover. Allow your body to recuperate and regenerate cells. Allow your body to digest all that, and then give your body a light workload. You can eat in a decent quantity, but try to make sure what you're eating is a good quality. Try to make sure that it's fresh, that it's something that your body doesn't have to be so exhausted in order to break down and to digest. things that's going to benefit your body, things that's going to bring some antioxidants, some, some vitamins, some nutrients to your body. That's where I'm at. Right now, we started at 290 pounds. Currently, we're sitting at around 278, 277, close to. And it's been cool, man. Just trying to keep at it. But as you can see, that's a huge jump from where I was even when I started the vegan lifestyle. Like I said, I started, dropped all that weight, and we had dropped down to 215, but I was at 245, which is still much lower than where I am now. But just through careless eating, being irresponsible, late night eating, just being just being irresponsible and period, and not allowing my body to recover, to digest, uh, could be stress eating, whatever the case, that's where it led me to. So I say all this stuff to say, this is my plan. This is where I'm at. This is my POA, my plan of action, my plan to attack. I appreciate anybody that's kind of joining in with me. Like I said, I wanted to chime in on here to get eyes on me about this so that I can have accountability partners, people who can chime in and say, hey, how's it going? Hey, what, how you doing so far on this thing, or stick with it, just to have just to not be alone. Of course, my wife is one of my best supporters, and my daughters are a great motivation for me as well. But it's always good to have a few extra eyes on you to keep you accountable. Not to babysit you, but to keep you on track and and hold you accountable to the word that you gave. I gave my word that this is what I would do, and I got to carry it out. I got to keep my word. But I said all that to say, to look at yourself, analyze where you are, and analyze where you want to be at. Figure out what's going to work best for you. Figure out what you can incorporate and what you can make into a lifestyle. Don't pick up a new diet. Don't pick up a new fad. Incorporate a new lifestyle. Something that you can easily integrate into your everyday life without having to think about it. That's what you want. That's what's going to make that difference. That's what's going to help you stick with it. Is when it becomes habitual, when it becomes you, when it becomes your routine. Oftentimes we'll wake up and we'll try to do these diets and we're still us. This diet is this separate outside thing, and we're having to remember to do this separate outside thing instead of incorporating this into as a lifestyle, to where it's not separate. When I wake up, this is what I'm doing. We got to figure out how to how to bridge that gap. Once you bridge that gap, it'll be much easier to achieve whatever goals you're looking for health wise, achieve whatever goals you're looking for, so far as maybe weight and weight loss and other areas of your life as well. My goal with doing this ADF is to get back down to at least 215. That's my goal. And I want to do it safely. I want to do it at a very paced way. So I don't want to go too crazy. So we may be changing the 36 12 and doing that maybe once or twice a month, maybe, incorporating a 18-6 more than likely, dropping that time window from eating from 12 to 6 and dropping the time window of fasting from a 36 to a 18, and something that's a bit more that I can easily incorporate every day. So far, it hasn't been too bad. It's only been a couple days that I've really struggled with maintaining that 36, but for the most part, it's not too bad. But I know that that won't be something that I could easily adapt every day, and I want to be realistic and make sure I'm not, being too ambitious and then I'm not able to keep my word. You know, I mean, I want to be able to engage in this fast, drop those blood sugar levels, drop those glucose levels, increase those ketones, and engage in that autophagy. That's what I want to be able to do. Engaging in that autophagy, that's what's going to really be that biggest benefit. Besides losing weight and dropping numbers on the scale, just being able to reverse uh, a lot of that cell, a lot to be able to regenerate a lot of those cells, to refresh a lot of those cells in the body, to getting rid of a lot of the free radicals that may come from some of the food that we're eating or some of the processed stuff that we take in. That's going to be important. Keeping that mental state refreshed. I notice that just the clarity that I get on a fast, is just a really good vibe to have. The physical ailments, being able to combat things like high blood pressure through a well thought out plan and lifestyle change. That's where I'm at. Wanting to be here as long as I can for my wife and for my children. So that is why I'm doing this ADF diet. So stay tuned in. I've been recording, doing day 5, day 6, doing day 7s, stuff like that. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing that. If it's a lifestyle, I might just incorporate it and call it a what I eat in a day instead of numbering it. If this is gonna be a lifestyle, it's gonna be forever. So trying to attach a number next to it, it'll just be kind of a little redundant. So we may just call it like what I eat in a day or my life on the ADF, something like that, and just make it an ongoing thing that doesn't necessarily have to have a number next to it. That is pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to kind of kick back and, chill out, talk with you guys about that a little bit, and engage into as to why I wanted to start this particular lifestyle change. And I think it's going to be dope when we hit that goal. I think it's going to be dope to be able to look back at these videos, to look back at the comments and the support early on. You guys have been excellent early on and just encouraging me, building me up. Tammy from Tammy Loves Fragrances, she joined me as well, and she's incorporating somewhat of like a 18-6, and she's also incorporating some days where she dry fasts as well. And she's always active, always on the go. So she's super encouraging, and I kind of just chime in with her, let her know how I'm doing. Sometimes she'll chime in, like, "Hey, how's your day going? What you been up to? How's everything going on the ADF and things like that." And it just helps me to stay motivated, to stay held accountable. You gave your word, now you got to keep it. And that's where I am right now. And to be honest, I like being able to develop that. To be honest, I wasn't always the best at keeping my word. I've gotten a lot better over the years, but I used to be really flaky. I would say one thing, do something totally different. And those were things that I knew were still an issue now. I would say this and then I wouldn't necessarily stick with it, or I would get flaky, or would want to do something else. Or I would struggle trying to keep it, and as the years have gone on, I've gotten much better at it. I think it's just developing consistency. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was inconsistent. I didn't film consistently. I didn't have any type of a schedule, any type of structure. So everything about me was inconsistent. And I was saying, I'm gonna do this and I wouldn't do it. Or I'm gonna do that and I wouldn't do it. And once I got into the first community, I noticed that developing consistency became very, very easy for me. But it took work, it took time, it took some years to get to that. And I can literally look at my YouTube analytics and just see you were inconsistent here, And then right here, you became consistent. You were saying one thing and doing whatever here, and then right here, you start sticking with it and keeping your word. And it's super encouraging looking at those analytics and seeing just nothing BS, wasting time, start this, stop that, and then structure. It was super encouraging to see that. And so I want to take that particular method and implement it in other areas of my life. And one of the areas I want to implement it in is my like eating, my dieting, my lifestyle. I want to incorporate it into that as well. And you know, I wanted to bring you guys in to help me with that. That is it for this video, you guys. I'll go ahead and let you guys go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you like our content. Also, if you guys drink coffee and you're interested in checking out some of our coffee, we have a coffee brand called Nutri Coffee. This is through NappsandNurture.com. And our signature flavor is Jamaican Blueberry Cobbler. When you order yourself a bag, you will receive a wristband of our merch. You will receive a business card with a little bit more of our information on here, as well as your bag of coffee. And this stuff is delicious, has a nice, rich, bold flavor, but it's not too bitter. It got the nice hint of blueberry to it as well, but it's not too much where it's overly sweet or just the flavor is just overly powerful. You drink it black, you're going to get just that exact profile. Now, if you add cream and sugar, it will draw out a little bit more of that blueberry flavor, but it won't be too much. It'll add just a nice hint of sweetness and just a great flavor profile to sit back and enjoy however you choose to, whether you want your coffee espresso, or whether you want just a regular, American coffee, if you want to add ice and do an iced coffee. It's just a wonderful blend, and it's not too bitter, and it is very versatile. So definitely check us out at NappsandNurture.com. And we also have artwork there as well, digital artwork. I have some paintings that I've done that I've made available for print as well on there. So definitely check us out at www.NappsandNurture.com. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.